You know they've been lying to us all this while. Yes, they've been lying to us. They always tell us that the crypto ecosystem is decentralized, that you are anonymous when it comes to the crypto ecosystem. But I can tell you, we have some platforms that still request for our KYC and tell us to submit our identities for us to use them. And that is what we're going to be talking about today. Centralized platform that still talks about KYC in the crypto ecosystem. But here is my question. Why should there be centralized exchanges and platforms in a supposed decentralized ecosystem like crypto? Why do they have to bring those kind of platform here? Do you think it's a good idea or there is something attached to this? Well, let me know in the comment section what you think. And also, which centralized exchange is your best? Do you prefer Binance, Bybit, or any other kind of centralized exchange? And which do you use most? Well, drop your comments in the comment section. Let's discuss. While we are doing that, I want us to talk about the centralized exchanges and platform and their advantages and disadvantages. So let us get into it and then see how good it is having them in the crypto ecosystem. Welcome back to my channel. It's Ella again. If this is your first time of joining me, please do well to subscribe and turn on post notification. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for always joining me. Do well to like, comment, and share with your family and friends if you find my content engaging. All right, so let us talk about centralized exchange and platforms. Okay, but before we do that, I want us to explain and understand what they are. Okay, so centralized exchange and platforms are the platforms that help you to manage your crypto assets while they identify with you as a customer and have your details. Now, their basic duty is to manage your crypto and help you trade them. Okay, these are centralized platforms and known platforms. All right, this platform have customer care. This platform have their physical branches where people customers can recognize with them and know them and relate with them one-on-one. Okay, so they help you to manage your crypto asset, do a lot of things in the crypto ecosystem, and they know you and you know them. Okay, so that is basically what a centralized exchange. Also, a centralized exchange helps to provide market for your token. Okay, it helps to provide a global market for every token and coin that you need. All right, okay, so if you want to trade a particular coin and it is already listed on that centralized exchange, anywhere around the world that you are, you can actually access that token because you can buy it from the centralized exchange. So it gives a global market to cryptocurrency projects, cryptocurrency coins, and it makes people access cryptocurrency easier. Okay, so you see that centralized exchange are not bad after all, can help you to access any cryptocurrency that is listed on them. Okay, so they are actually doing that and it helps make adoption in crypto ecosystem easier. It makes adoption faster and easier. Another good thing about centralized exchanges is that you always have a customer care to complain to. All right, when we talk about centralized exchange, you can easily identify with them, but decentralized exchange like DEX, it's quite difficult to identify with them. They don't have your KYC and all of that, don't really identify physically. They are just like a platform that helps you to trade your cryptocurrency. But a centralized exchange have several of that. They do most of this and they identify with you as a customer, and this you can actually get help when you need them. I started using crypto, the first place I started trading crypto was a centralized exchange. I first learned how to trade on a centralized exchange before learning decentralized exchange, because centralized exchanges are actually very simple to use. They are very simple to navigate and they provide help to you every step of the way. I could remember the first time I opened a Binance account, it gave me steps on how to navigate the platform and it was so easy. Doing trading there was so easy. Trading P2P and all of that was so easy for me, and I can tell you these are the things that they offer. They make sure that they make the steps easier for you. All right, so I learned how to trade crypto first on a centralized exchange before a decentralized exchange because it is more easy for a newbie to use. So if you're a newbie wanting to learn cryptocurrency, I would advise you first of all learn how to trade on a centralized exchange. All right, learn how to trade on a centralized exchange. It is not difficult for you to open an account with them. All you have to do is to download the app from Play Store or Apple Store, and then you register and do your KYC with your government ID card. Before we continue, I'd love to know which is your best centralized exchange and which are you using the most. We have a lot of them, the likes of Binance, Bybit, BitGet, and the rest of them. Tell me in the comment section which is your best centralized exchange and why do you love them. So now that we have talked about the good things about them, their advantages, let me tell you few disadvantages of using a centralized exchange. All right, good things about them, but I would love you to know that there are also some disadvantages which I myself have experienced. All right, but if you can navigate the system very well, I can tell you you are in safe hands. First disadvantage of a centralized exchange is that the answer to every government and every country that they find themselves in. All right, so if you are looking to run away from government and all of that, just know that the centralized exchanges answer to the government. okay? They answer to the government and they report to the government and pay taxes also to the government. So you don't actually run away from government if you're using a centralized exchange, because they have every tendency to answer to the government. And if the government is looking for you and they go through a centralized exchange, they can actually get you through that centralized exchange, okay? And if a government say that we don't need a centralized exchange in our country anymore, then you might be losing access to that centralized exchange and your funds too. So the best thing for you to do is this: any centralized exchange that is in your country and you're using, make sure you always get news about what is happening between them and the government of your country. A few years ago, a particular centralized exchange had to leave my country because the government wasn't pleased with them. All right, so they left my country and I stopped accessing that centralized exchange. I stopped using them because they were no longer available in my region and in my country. So always look out for news about centralized exchanges and the government of your country. The centralized exchange always answer to every government of any country that they reside in. All right, so the second disadvantage of a centralized exchange is that they are limited. Okay, as a customer, there are limited amount of money you can withdraw from a centralized exchange in a particular day. All right, I remember while I registered for in a centralized exchange platform, after doing KYC, there are levels to the amount of money that I had to withdraw. As a regular customer, I know there are certain amount of money I can withdraw and certain amount of money I cannot withdraw in a particular day. That also applies to businesses also. If there are certain amount of money you can withdraw in a particular day. So centralized exchanges are limited. The third disadvantage of a centralized exchange is that your money can be stuck. So if you are using a centralized exchange and the platform or the centralized exchange crashes, you can lose your money. Okay, we remember what happened with Bybit a few months ago, where they were hacked of billions of dollars. A lot of people started withdrawing their money thinking that Bybit is going to crash, but graciously Bybit were able to overcome the challenge and people's funds were safe. So if a centralized exchange is not well grounded and they're not well equipped to take care of customers' funds when there is a crash, then that exchange might crash and go run away with people's funds. So always look out for exchanges that are well grounded and have enough reserve to cater for customers' money when there is a crash or when there is trouble. The last but not the least disadvantage of a centralized exchange is that as an individual, if you don't want to have anything to do with the government, just like I have said, do not use a centralized exchange, because the centralized exchange always answers to the government and they can easily, or they can actually give your details to the government. So the government have a way of putting hands into the centralized exchange businesses. So if you don't want to have anything to do with the government, then it's best you don't use a centralized exchange. All right, so you rather remain with the decentralized exchanges, the DEX. The government doesn't have anything to do with decentralized exchanges, but centralized exchanges actually answer to the government. So while you come into the crypto ecosystem thinking to make money, all this information, you need to know them. You need to know the advantages and disadvantages of centralized and decentralized exchange. And today we just talked about the centralized exchanges. In my next video, we're going to talk about decentralized exchanges. So if you're looking to start using centralized exchanges, know that they are the good part and they are also the disadvantages. All right, so hopefully this video helps you to make a better decision. But I would advise you, if you're a newbie, I would advise you to get one centralized exchange that will help you to learn. It is actually a very good platform. Okay, if you know how to navigate it, then you are good to go. Get a centralized exchange that can help you and fasten your growth and your learning process in the crypto ecosystem. And that is all from me today. Thank you so much for joining me. Please do well to like and subscribe. Also share with your family and friends if you find my content engaging. On to my next video. See you.